Are we filming? Yes, we are. So welcome to another podcast. Thank you for joining me. Going to start with a thing called, I don't mean to be over dramatic, but I'm calling this funeral protocol. This week, sadly, I had to attend a friend's funeral. And I took I switched my phone off as you would expect, but I did carry with me a notebook, an EDC notebook, if you like. For those that are listening, I'm holding up my Atoma EDC pocket notebook. And I had to use this notebook because, as is very, very common, I imagine, at funerals you will see people. I saw people that I hadn't seen for some time, and although in ways a funeral is a sad occasion, it's also a celebration of life. But crucially, for paper-based productivity enthusiasts, we will all recognise that this is a time for comparing notes, opening diaries, and organising some sort of meet-up, because a funeral is like that. You get to see people you haven't seen for some time, and then you say, well, we mustn't leave it so late. We mustn't leave it to the next funeral. We've got to let's pick a date. And so you consult your diaries or make a note. I did see someone with their phone, and I mean, it's perfectly innocent, I'm sure, but the issue with using a phone at a funeral, or sometimes in a business meeting, or maybe in a church service if you go to church, is that using a mobile phone could be construed as checking TikTok or checking social media or something that might be deemed to be inappropriate. But with a notebook, it's not susceptible to that kind of misjudgment, and a notebook is a notebook, and so it's just one of those times where being at a funeral reminded me of the importance of a paper-based system like a notebook or a diary, for those moments that are a little bit sensitive, and for times when you perhaps wouldn't really want to use a phone. So let's move on. I was chatting about Plotter notebooks on social media. Plotter is a Japanese company, makes very, very high-end, seriously good quality binders. From the mini size, pocket size, personal size, they call it the Bible size, right up to A5 or equivalent. Lovely. I'm trying to get my hands on one to do a review at some point, but I haven't got there yet because the cost is very, very high. But one of my viewers, or a commentator, said that the Japanese love their stationery and the quality is outstanding. And I concur with that. Certainly statistically, on my channel, I have a big Japanese following. And I am actually quite jealous because they have binders in the Japanese market that we don't have access to. I do remember I do remember the 100th anniversary of the Filofax brand 3 years ago, and I'm mindful of the fact that I knew of the Grace Sker facsimile duplex binder. That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? That came in a presentation box with blue ribbons that was issued for the 75th anniversary here in the UK. And then I was hoping for something even better for the 100th anniversary, and we to my knowledge, we didn't get any facsimile binder at all. Someone said, I also remember they said, well, all we've got is a few coloured stickers. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I certainly didn't come across any commemorative binders at all. If there had been, I definitely would have been interested, but there were some issued to the Japanese market that apparently were made in India to very, very high original specifications. There's a facsimile Winchester. I think there was at least one other model as well that appear occasionally on eBay for around about £500 and up. I'm sure they're worth it, but it's a bit outside my price range. However, I am clearly quite jealous of the fact that in some markets, the Japanese market gets more of a special case treatment than here in the UK. But maybe I don't know. I mean, it's wrong for me to judge, but I'm sure the FLB group know what they're doing. But if they had made one, I would have bought one. This made me smile this week. One of my regular viewers said, and we were talking about the issue over my. I mean, I'm reluctant to talk about, but I will. I was mentioning the issue with my binders that I ostensibly bought because I thought they were repositionable pages. Did my research, saw a video on YouTube showing that the pages were repositionable, bought these binders and found that the pages weren't repositionable. One of the binders was damaged. But I did get back to, the FLB group did get back to me with regards to this, confirming that they weren't repositionable. I did mention I did give them a link to the video showing that they were repositionable, but they didn't respond. Perhaps I put them in an awkward position there. But I did have the option to return them. In fact, I probably still do, but because of the time constraints and the fact that we're only talking about £15, it's not commercially viable for me to spend an hour or so packing them and nipping up the post office and queuing, etc. So I'm just going to keep them and put them down to experience. I will use the paper in some way. I won't show it because this is supposed to be a podcast that's good for people who want to listen. But these Pro notebooks have come all the way from Canada. Someone tells me that they're old stock. I'm not surprised, but they were cheap enough. I mean, it's just one of those things where I didn't do my research, and the moral of the story is, even if you have a video, you can clearly see a video demonstrating the product and showing how the pages are all repositionable. maybe it's best to ask the manufacturer whether or not they really are repositionable, just in case they're not repositionable. Okay, I've had my say. I'm going to hold my peace now. But one of my regular viewers says I sometimes slip the paper by the hole punches, which avoids clickety-clacking in public. I like the word clickety-clack. I mean, everybody knows what clickety-clack means and sounds like. It's one of those phrases that sounds exactly how it is in real life. 1803 is the earliest reference to the term clickety-clack. What else are we doing? Sorry, I've left my train of thought. Right. Diaries. Now this is a really interesting one, and I am bowled over by this. I haven't bought and used a set of filofax diary inserts for several years, and I always remember the poor quality paper. Let me see if I can find something that shows you just how bad it is. Okay, this is a good one. If you're listening to this, basically what I'm doing is I am holding up. So here's a sheet of paper from a 2017 personal size binder. There's a bit of feathering. It's pretty okay there, isn't it? But when you turn it over, it's just appalling. Can you see that? So basically, what I'm looking at is some shadowing and bleed through that is really bad. And I remember these days, and so because I like using all sorts of pens, including fountain pen. It just wasn't for me. However, I am pleasantly surprised because I bought at the beginning of this year not just one, but two filofax diaries. A week on 2 pages pocket and a week on 2 pages personal. And I bought them because I was experimenting. And I was intrigued by the claims that they were fountain pen friendly. And do you know what? Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Let me just find one. I know that this is supposed to be a podcast, but I'll tell you what. I am very impressed. Let's see if I can find a page to demonstrate. And for those that are listening to this, so this is, I'm holding up some fountain pen inked week on 2 pages diary in my pocket size. And then if I hold it up again on the other side there where my little finger is right now, you can see that it's pretty good. It is pretty good. I can barely see any show through at all, any shadow. So the paper is very thin, so you can get lots of a whole. I can get a whole 12 months diary on 11mm rings and have room to spare. So I'm not sure what the GSM, the paper thickness is, but pretty good. So full marks to filofax for their fountain pen friendly paper. I'm really delighted. One thing I'm not delighted about is the fact that I don't mean to be this a moan, it's just an observation that for some strange reason, even though they are in the business of making diaries, you cannot buy, at the moment, you have to wait until April before the 2025 diary is available. So if you've got any dates that need to be jotted down in your diary for this time next year, you ain't going to be doing it unless you buy a diary from somebody else, a third party. And that's exactly what I've done. So if the FLB group are listening, I would have bought a diary from you, but you don't sell them. Not until April, which is no good to me because I need a rolling 12-month diary. I don't want a 12-month diary in January, but then an 8-month diary in April. That doesn't really work for me. So I have bought a diary from a third party, and to be honest, the filofax paper is much superior, and the price is roughly the same. So of the filofax diary and the aftermarket third-party diary. So the third-party manufacturers are presumably making plenty of profit on that, and the quality isn't so good, and filofax have lost out. I wonder, this is interesting, I wonder how many people go to third-party diaries, third-party inserts, because their requirement is to have a 12-month rolling diary any given month of the year. Certainly businesses require that. And if you are, for instance, I don't know, let's say an organizer of weddings, well, you probably need a diary sort of 3 or 4 years in advance, not just the 8 months that filofax give you until April, when you can then finally get a 2025 diary. So yeah, I'm giving filofax full marks for delivery and packaging. Packaging was quite good, apart from the fact that they put the damaged. Well, presumably they didn't spot it. Somehow it was damaged between Canada and my house via the Scottish warehouse, and they didn't spot that. But apart from that, the delivery was good. It was in a box, not a bubble mailer, and also they used FedEx, really good quality. FedEx tracked. So a bit of a mixed bag, but overall it's okay. And my only disappointment, apart from the 2 Notebook Pro binders, is and the damage to that. Not only the damage to the binders, but also the damage to the Saffiano compact zip. But that was probably happened in China, and they didn't check it before they put it in the box, and then sent it halfway around the world damaged. And then filofax themselves didn't check it, and then they sent it to me. They sent a damaged one to me. Oh dear. But at least they sent all those damaged items by FedEx, and they arrived damaged fairly promptly. And the ink doesn't show through, so I'm very, very pleased with the qualities of the paper. Even though a 2025 diary is not going to be available till April. So yeah, I'm trying to be optimistic, but it's I would say when it comes to, I mean, I may be unlucky. It may be that I'm the only one who has ever had bad experiences with filofax, but there's some improvement. At least they shipped it in a box, and the paper has improved no end. Other issues, surprisingly for me, exist. But there we go. It is what it is. Now, where is I'm looking for my book again. My podcast book. Okay. Bear with me. Okay, so am I going to Am I going to say any more about Blue Line? No, I'm not. Okay. Interestingly, and this is, I want to mention this because some people may not realise that this is possible. Now, someone said, why doesn't Filofax respond to some of your questions? Have you tried ringing them? I haven't tried ringing them, but the fact that there is you could probably find lots of numbers, but they're clearly not keen on you knowing their number because it's not on you can't find it on the website. You would have to find it in other ways. They want you to contact them using their contact form, and I can understand that. I am the same way with myself. I can't offer a personalised phone service for customers, so it's through email. So I can understand that. But from a point of view of contact, some of you may not know that there are two ways of contacting the FLB group, namely Filofax, up in Dalkeith, Scotland. So the first thing is their contact form. So you fill it in and then put in your email address, and they will get back to you, hopefully. But the second is their actual email address, where you can email them direct. I'm not going to give you the email address because you might be reading this or watching this. You might be watching this or listening to this. Sorry, in a few years' time. I am making this podcast in January 2024, and so by the time you may be listening to this and the email address has changed. So I'll just suggest that you look for their email address and use that. On my hunch is that you're more likely to get a response from the email address than the contact form, but I may be wrong. But persevere. I must admit, if there's been a faulty product, they've been fairly quick customer service. But in my experience, if you suggest anything that they might like to try or do, they completely ignore me. For instance, I was pointing out the other day that this is I'm reaching for a box. It's a standard packaging box in which came the Saffiano zip. I pointed out to them that the Saffiano zip has detachable rings, and they might like to consider selling the detachable rings on their own. Certainly in Japan, there are firms that will do that in all the relevant sizes, but not here. There's obviously a market in Japan for enthusiasts. There's probably a market here. It's not just me. But the long and the short of it is because they don't sell the rings on their own, I ended up paying full retail price for a Saffiano compact zip, just so that I could check out the design of the rings and check out the backing board and how the rings were attached to the backing board, etc. And what am I doing with this? Well, I've straightened out the zip pull, which had been bent round in the cardboard in the Chinese factory. So everything is fine now. But and there's a slight error with there's a slightly faulty stitching. Very, very slight, very minor. I'm quite picky. but other than that, it is absolutely fine. And I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with it, because I'm not interested in the Saffiano compact zip. I was only interested in the having a look at the ring mechanism. So I'm almost certainly just going to sell the binder on eBay. I might keep the ring mechanism as a reference guide, if you like. And the reason I might do that is because the binder is still marketable, because it will fit a Hobonichi notebook and others, presumably. And I have seen Saffiano compact zips being sold without the ring mechanism. So I haven't yet decided what I'm going to do. I'll talk about eBay right at the end, after I've said goodbye, after I've finished the podcast. For those that are still interested, I will carry on talking about the commercial side of this channel. But yes, I'm probably going to sell that fairly quickly on eBay, because it's got a full personal sized week on 2 pages diary. Okay, so I keep on closing my book. Okay, so I've covered the Hobonichi stroke ring mechanism thing, and what I'm doing with the Saffiano. Okay, so we're getting towards the end now, and I've just added this because I'm probably the comment of the week. Someone says, I'm sure I've complimented your photography before, but I just wanted to say that I enjoy very much the multi-camera setup. So thank you, I appreciate that. The multi-camera setup is basically, well, I won't tell you how I'm doing it. But if you want to become a channel member, you will be able to see my studio tour, in which I show you exactly how I make these multi-camera setup videos, if you like. But so it's a secret, if you like. But thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's more or less it. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say thanks very much and goodbye. I appreciate you. We're only up to 28 minutes, so this is quite a short podcast. But I haven't done one for a while. There isn't any sort of specific timetable for podcasts, but I thought it was about time I made one, even if it's a sort of fairly short one. I'm kind of normally aiming to keep within an hour, and clearly today I've kept well within the hour, haven't I? But I'm gonna carry on talking about the commercial side of the channel in a second. But for those that don't want to hear me plugging my channel, I'll say thanks very much and goodbye. So, are you still here? If you are, I want to explain a couple of things. First of all, my eBay activities. As you know, I've put a link in my videos going not specifically to a particular video, so a particular item, and there's a reason for that. Is because if I give you a link to a specific auction, well, it's only going to be valid for a few days before the auction finishes. If it's to a Dutch auction, well, it might be valid for a month or two, but then again, the auction will ultimately end. So that's the reason why I'm at least for the foreseeable, at least I think that's probably the best thing, is to just give you a link to my channel in general. It's an affiliate link, to an affiliate link, so that I can pick up some loose change, as it were, through the process if you end up buying something on eBay, which I really appreciate. So thank you very much. There's clearly some people that are doing that anyway, even though I'm not selling anything at the moment. People are using the link and then going on to buy whatever they want, and then I pick up a small commission. So if that's you that's doing that, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'm also I haven't published it yet, but I'm working on a website which will have all the products that I am using and have found to be good enough to meet my seal of approval. But I'm working on that, and I am also. Oh, let me just talk about the eBay thing for a second. It's like a preemptive thing. You will see some auctions that start at a penny, a traditional eBay auction, and I like to start them at a penny. I'm probably going to do that for the Saffiano compact zip. So someone is going to get a bargain there. It's just an interesting thing, isn't it, to watch an item. If someone's brave enough to start it at a penny, well, just what happens? I mean, will someone get it for a penny? You never know. So it is quite an interesting thing, and that's why I do these penny start auctions sometimes. But the majority of my sales this year, and I'm going to be doing quite a few, I've left it until January. Why have I left it till January? Because it's just that the postal service is a bit unreliable in January for the Royal Mail, because there's just, I mean, for some reason it always is, isn't it? Because of the after effects of Christmas. So I'm aiming to start sales in February. I'll be thinning out my collection. But just a reminder that if you see a binder that you think might be worth £25 and I'm trying to sell it for 100, it's because I use this Dutch auction system where I start at a ridiculously high amount, and then as far as what I do is drop the price by 5% every weekend, typically. All the way down to £1 if necessary, and it's a bit of fun, and it's how Dutch auctions of yesteryear used to run. In fact, eBay have in the past had a system that automates the process, but I do it manually because I'm not sure whether eBay are actually doing it. I haven't really looked, but it didn't appear that they were. But it can be replicated manually. So basically, if you see a binder that you really like and it's far too expensive, then just wait until the price is right for you. If you wait long enough and you're the only person, then you're going to end up with a really nice binder for £1. It's unlikely, but hang fire, or just have a look and just follow it with interest and see just how low the price went before someone. It only takes one person jumps in and thinks, do you know what, I don't want to lose that, so I'm going to buy it now. So a little bit of interest using Dutch auctions. And finally, if you're still here, and I feel a lot easier about this because I've made it clear that this section of the podcast is all about the commercial side of my activities. But I want to talk about channel memberships. Last year I wasn't very organised, but this year my decision-making process has been triggered by this horrendous cough I've had during the autumn months, which made it very, very difficult, if if at all possible, to make some videos. So what I've decided to do is get ahead of the game and make several videos, possibly as many 50 videos, i.e. 3 months ahead, so that if I have a 3 months illness, as an example, I don't have to worry about getting back on my feet and trying to make videos when I'm ill, because I've built up that buffer, that safeguard, if you like. I've banked some videos. However, I'm more than happy to leave those videos visible, that bank of videos open to channel members. So I think at the moment channel members are about 9 or 10 videos ahead of the wider viewing public, and when I get to 50 videos, then there'll be 50 videos ahead. I am still making sure that regular viewers get to see, well, at the moment I'm trying to, I mean, I've got over 250 videos in written down in my notebooks, filofaxes, that I haven't made yet. So I'm not short of material, and I'm full of ideas, as you know. I chop and change all the time, partly because I want to, that's what I do. If I just had one system, then there wouldn't be much point of a channel, would there, if I'm just talking endlessly about the same system. But I am trying to release a video every couple of days for the wider viewing public, which means by inference that I'm making more than that, to increase the number of videos I have as a buffer in case I'm ill. And I let my channel members, I give them access to all of those. So sometime over the next few months, channel members will be maybe as many as 50 videos ahead of everybody else. So if you're curious as to where we're up to, potentially 50 videos ahead, and you like the idea of paying a small subscription to access those videos, and you like the idea of watching them advert free, because what I'm doing is I'm making sure that at least until they go live for the wider viewing public, all of those videos in that exclusive viewing period, they'll be advert free for channel members. One or two other perks as well. There's a certain element of a few exclusive videos. I think I've got 3 that I've made over the last couple of months that are purely for channel members themselves, and they won't be on the wider channel. Stuff that is sort of behind the scenes and more about me and how I make my videos, that sort of thing, that is incidental to the videos I make on YouTube. And also there's a couple of other perks that are sort of inherent in this whole system, where your videos are very, very, if you're a channel member, your videos are, your comments are far more visible to me. I'm reaching the point where I can't answer every single one. I am trying, but the fact that when a video goes live for channel members, they're the only ones that can comment on that video for a few weeks until, or a few days or a few weeks until it goes live to the wider viewing public. So they get first dibs, if you like, first bite of the cherry in terms of leaving comments. And also there's a couple of other bonus perks, if you like. One is I'm open to suggestions from channel viewers with regards to making videos, and I believe I've done a couple so far where they've been instigated by channel members' suggestions. And I'm not sure how far I'm going to go with this, but I have one of my channel members already on my Facebook, my personal Facebook. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing long term or whatever, but certainly there's the inference there that channel members get personal access to my thought processes. So we'll see how that goes. But there is a lot there that is elevated above the normal access that the channel members, the wider public enjoy. So a bit of a plug there, but hopefully it's more of an explanation as to what's going on, what's been happening up till now, and what's likely to happen in the future, particularly and specifically about the fact that channel members, instead of last year being maybe 1, 2 or 3 videos ahead of everybody else, channel members this year will potentially be as many as 50 videos ahead, which is a lot of binge watching if you're interested in watching my videos. So I guess what I'm trying to do is make sure that, because channel members are actually giving me real money, I take it really seriously. That I offer you channel members a really good deal, and I make sure that I work for my money, and I'm very, very grateful. But that's basically what I'm working on at the moment, and this has all stemmed from my desire to build up a buffer of videos just in case I am going to be ill this year. So plenty going on, and then I'm going to say goodbye to all of you that are still watching. Thanks very much for watching, and until my next video, goodbye.